definition for bestoke. Not bespoke, but bestoke.
Okay, bestoke is this cat right here because he's a beast, and he's stoked because he's on the show. He's bestoked.
Judges, do we accept this?
I played the
No.
fifth.
The judges say no. Try again.
Poor Ziggy, what happened? He says, I do not understand why I is not bestoked.
Is orange.
Mm.
Oh my
It's
God,
so
this is
orange.
ridiculous. He is so orange.
He's orange and jobless. I keep seeing things on the internet, little videos, whatnot. It says, on this episode of Orange and Jobless.
Oh my Lord.
And it's orange cats doing things, usually orange kittens doing things.
Imagine that.
Given that I have one of those, not kitten, but she thinks she is, that seems way too accurate.
Rowdy, you are correct. Tiger cats are just completely nuts.
Yep.
Will you stop? Oh, of course the answer is no, you won't.
Nope. Must be held.
Must
Is
be
baby.
held. Must be held. If he looks large, it's because he's large.
Mm.
The L-A-R-G-E. God. I don't know what he's trying to do.
Smother you.
Yeah, something
He
like
says,
that.
I was going to smother your microphone, Dad. You can't talk now.
I'm just going to
How
do the
very
whole
dare you.
episode like this.
Well,
It'll be
why not?
perfect. Why not?
Uh,
'Cause
I-
he's heavy, man. He weighs like 2 tons.
See, what would be funny is if you hold him and then you start doing like, so parents, if you're holding kids, evidently, like at some point you want to do like this sway. So you're swaying, you're doing it right now. You start swaying back and forth.
Rogie. Oh, he doesn't like that. Got it.
So yeah. Oddly enough, one of my cats, like, I get like Disney princess. I'll start singing, like warming up my voice, and she'll just trot around and look at me like, "Yes, you summoned me," and I'm like, "I'm singing
Aw.
scales." Yeah, that's the orange one, but so no brain, so we can't. She has no
Rowdy says
taste.
he used to have an orange tiger cat named Wampus.
That's a great name.
That is a great name. Yeah, V is at an undisclosed location right now,
I am.
so we don't even know where she is. This is
U.S.
she's
Marshal
on a,
Service won't let her tell us either.
yeah, she's on a special encrypted line. Word is that the cats have got it out for her. She did something, and they're she's hiding from her own cats. It's a really bad family situation, and we hope it clears up soon. Our hearts go out to you, V.
Thanks. I will find a way to repent via a whole lot of wet food when I am able to return. Because between that and catnip, maybe I'll get back into their good graces.
Maybe you'll be forgiven. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to have a way of going ahead and making the food so it's catnip laced.
I've read somewhere like folks who grow their own catnip would go and like dry the leaves out and then make catnip tea and then let it cool and put it into the water. So the
Wow,
cats would wind up.
okay.
Yeah.
I wonder how they'd like that.
Huh.
From what I've heard, it goes over pretty well. I have yet to try it.
Huh. Oh, huh. I will be on the lookout for comments about how this works out. I want to know. Inquiring minds are curious.
Oh.
On that note,
Howdy,
howdy folks, and welcome to another episode of the Dead Robot Society. I am Paul E. Cooley, back from Arizona, tanned, ready, and rested, and all that good garbage. And today joining me, Veronica Jaguar and Terry Mixon.
Hello.
Hi.
I thought he had fallen asleep. I really did. I really did. I'm looking at him, I'm going, he's falling asleep. He's just bad.
Right.
Hello,
I feel
Matt.
like I'm falling asleep. Can I fall asleep? I could nap during this show. I could do that.
You've done that before. This is nothing new.
The only problem is you'd start that and then Julius would come up and like sit right here and you'd aspirate, fur, and then
Probably.
it'd be all over.
It just nothing
Tell
good
me
is
I'm
going
wrong.
to come from this. Nothing is going to come for this.
Julius, your name has been called. You have been called to service. What does the cat's hero journey look like, I wonder?
You better get on writing that, man.
I should write something like that. The cat's hero journey.
I
Leo,
think
what's your journey?
to the food bowl and back.
Come here,
God,
Bubba.
he's calling them now.
Oh, so big. Yes. Dumb as a box of rocks, but lovable. Oh. What?
Matt wants to know how Donna's doing.
I'll get to that in the what have we been up to section, but she's doing okay.
It's a game called Stray.
I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played it. I watched somebody play through like half of a level and went, wow, I really should play this game. And then I never played it. I feel bad.
Oh, speaking of things that you did and then never actually thought about doing, I posted a link to an audiobook in live for UV because it's an isekai. Isekai? Is that how it's pronounced? Isekai. But the protagonist in this audiobook is a human that becomes a dragon, and it's the dragon's journey.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, that's different. The narrator is an Australian woman, and so it's a little hard to get to sometimes. And I'm not a fan of her dragon voice. I wish she'd have done the dragon voice in her regular voice because it's interesting to listen to. So there you are.
Okay.
Oh, I know Kat.
You know everybody.
I don't know everybody. I don't know everybody, and there are plenty of Aussie voice actors and audiobook narrators, but Kat she does dialect coaching, she does accent coaching, she does breath and body work coaching, and she is a delight.
The story is awesome. The narration is great. Unfortunately, having the dragon voice is unfortunate, I think, because it would have been much better in her normal voice as opposed to what she's come up with. She uses her normal voice for all of the other characters, but not the dragon because she wants the dragon to sound different, and it doesn't quite work. It doesn't quite come off right.
That's unfortunate.
We'll see. Looks like it's a podium title. So
speaking of getting into things, what the hell have you been up to, V? Besides, pissing off your cats and ending up in federal custody.
Yeah, I know, right? Let's see. I have been in the interesting position of prepping my own work for audio, which is very cool, but while I've narrated my own stuff before, I haven't done it to the point. I haven't done it since I've had a really extensive prep process. So one of the first things I have to submit is a pronunciation guide. And it's great because I get this, so by the way, you need to confer with the author and copy us on all of the, correspondence you have with the author about this pronunciation guide.
Oh, no.
My therapist tells me not to talk to myself anymore.
And I said, well, I'll send you the list. And if you really need me to, I can confer with my co-author, but my name's on the cover. So
she doesn't know how to pronounce your name either.
Oh. And the thing is, I've had a couple instances over the years of where if something wasn't specified in a pronunciation guide, I got argued with. And they're like, no, we want it to sound this way. I'm like, but that's not how it's supposed to be pronounced. So the book publisher, Bain, when you get your proof, they give you a style sheet. I've talked about this before. Well, the style sheet not only lists like conventions for spelling, but it calls out every single named character in the book and the first page they appear on. So all that I had to do was grab those pages, copy, paste, and then go and get pronunciations for all of the names.
Nice.
All of the names in IPA and in sound it out and this is how it looks. So I have author names in IPA and standard, like how you just say it out loud. All of the character names, all of them. even the common sense ones. So it's like 3 pages long. Am I being pedantic? Absolutely. But I
She says,
figure
I don't care. I shall be pedant, 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 pedant.
I figure that if at the end of the day, if I am helping a proofer so they don't have to go back and fix things, all the better. So yeah, that has been a good portion of my week. And then it's been dentist week at my house.
Ooh,
So,
dentist week. You know, is that like
dentist,
Shark Week, but just totally different?
but is it depending
But
upon
is it? But is it
depending
really?
upon the condition of one's teeth? How different is it? Um, but yeah, so everybody had to go get cleanings and whatnot. But my daughter got braces, and we are dealing with orthodontic pain, which is not cool. So that is limiting some of the stuff that we can do and eat. But hopefully it will subside. So yeah, that's been my week. What about you, Terry?
Well, Donna had her right knee totally replaced on Thursday. Very exciting stuff there. Unfortunately, we had to be at the facility at 5:45 in the morning, and it's all the way across Houston and Katy from where we are, about an hour's drive away.
Yeah.
So rather than stay at home, we went ahead and got a motel room and stayed closer to it. Unfortunately, it was way too early to try to go to sleep for me, and I tried to, could not go to sleep at a decent hour. So it was late going to sleep, early getting up, dealing with her going into surgery, which, by the way, it came out fine. The doctor said that her knee was in worse condition than he expected it to be based on the information that he had seen from the x-rays and whatnot, and that getting a total knee replacement was absolutely the right thing to do at that point in time. And everything came out fine. He took off an incredible number of bone spurs that were probably causing arthritic type stuff going on as well. The knee was completely bone on bone. There was nothing between it, no cartilage at all. And he went ahead and shaved down part of the bone so that her leg would stand straighter, could correct some of the bowing that was going on. But all of that has been taken care of. She's been back home. We arrived at 5:45 and we're out by 11. That's with her walking around a little bit. Wow. So it was a very fast process in my mind, but everything's turned out well. She's getting around on a walker very slowly. I gave her a bedpan to take care of herself with, and she bonked me on the head with it, threw it at me, and I didn't actually give her any of that. She's getting up to go to the bathroom herself and being able to do it just fine. But I am a total wreck because after having not been able to sleep, I got home Friday and was so tired that I could not go to sleep and was up till like 3 a.m. and then ended up woke up the next morning bright and early. So I'm still completely out of sorts and have a lot of brain fog going on. And it will probably be Monday before my body is back into anything even remotely close to normal.
I get that.
Ouch.
I had finished turning in all of the beta reads on the previous book. I have not started writing the new book, so I am currently in between. I did finish the final 2 chapters in the, quote, first book of my Traveler serial. I wrapped up were the place where I would normally stop a book. So it is done, and I haven't started writing any new on that as well. That's it. That's all I've been doing.
Very boring.
Yeah, terribly boring. I hardly did anything.
How dare you not do anything? What is wrong with you?
What did you do then?
Xander missed the entire start. Did he get no points? Did Xander get no points? Oh my God!
Xander without points. My God, what is the world coming to?
It's kind of pointless, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I was in Arizona for the last 7
Who
days.
could resist that one? It was like a slow pitch. It was literally hanging in the air right there.
I can't.
I have other things to do. I was in Arizona for the week. Really enjoyed it. Had a good time seeing relatives and hanging out. And I really like Tucson. I really, really like Tucson. I would really consider moving there. I really would.
You should. You should go to Tucson.
I don't know if I can afford Tucson.
Hey, you
But,
can afford the Woodlands.
Yeah, my house was built in 1984, 83.
My house was built like 20 years before that. I don't want to hear
I know,
you
your
bitch.
house is even older. Houses are a little bit more expensive now, Terry. Just a little.
You know, I've totally noticed that. The valuation on my home has done weird and terrible things for my property taxes.
Well, of course, because, there is no property tax relief, but that's something completely different. So while I was on vacation, I really didn't do a whole lot of writing. I cracked open a couple of files, took a look and then did a little bit of editing on TMZ2, made some notes to myself, and kept going from there. So that's about the extent of what I got done creatively. Matt, yeah, your house was built in 1780. Our country has only been around since 1776. So yeah.
Bring that nose down just a little bit. Stop staring down that nose at us over there. All right.
I have
You
news
realize
for you.
that houses that were built that far back, that man probably has to duck every time he enters a room.
He has
Well,
to
that's
wait
probably true.
for the proverbial cherry bomb to go off in his toilet. What are you talking about? I hardly imagine what the plumbing would do to him.
Jesus Christ Almighty. Anyway, I had a really good time. I'm at the point where I need to get things going again this week, get recording done, and get some writing done. I hope. I really need to break out of being single-threaded. Matt says, "Wrong take. At 6'3", do you know what our doorways are like?" I have no question.
I was about to say, yeah.
There's no electricity or plumbing. Yikes! Outhouse and back. Howdy, Antoine. I'm pretty sure the house has been updated since 1780, Rowdy. Just saying. I think there's probably been some updates since then.
The heating system is still run by a small dragon in the backyard.
Now that I believe. That's like the Welsh version of a heat pump.
Mm-hmm.
6'4", Matt. Oh Lord. 1914. We're gonna break away from all this. So we had a question. Not a question. It's show topics. It is a question, I guess.
Okay.
Girth.
Oh, wait a minute. Stop right there. Stop. We need to have a no gutter warning immediately before you mention that word. No gutter. No gutter.
Girthiness is a variable. It's a variable.
Here we go.
Some books are thicker than others. Some stories are just full of themselves, overinflated.
Some stories are a Coke can, other stories are a pencil.
There you go.
Are
There's a
some
good one.
stories the throbbing can of Pringles?
No, but
I like to think of it as the Billy Club of Joy, but that's just me.
Oh my God. You're turning her red, man. Look what you've done.
no, my first thought was, but a Coke can and a Pringles can are about the same. You're just a difference in length. But we aren't talking about length, we're talking about girth. And so they're about equal.
There's a point where, it doesn't matter how long it is because it's too much. Okay?
Oh,
There
God.
is an upper end here.
Actually, that's a fantastic segue. It doesn't matter how long it is because sometimes it's just full of too much and it's not good quality.
It's just killing me. I love it. I love it.
How can you feel the nuance when all it is I don't even know how to describe it. It's too full. There's no room for nuance.
Okay, all right.
So
Stop.
you're saying that it's stuffed with unnecessary things. It's
That's right.
loaded.
It's a run-on can of Pringles.
It's unnecessarily inflated.
Can we
Ooh.
go back to books being
Ooh.
girthy?
I was talking about books.
Sure, you
We
were.
were all
Anyway,
talking about books. What were you talking about?
how do you decide, Matt said, how do you decide what to slim down? Quality over quantity. Yep, that's what she said. Uh huh. You decide what to slim down. You got a word target to hit. You like what you've got, and you're 50% over your target.
Mm.
You slim down repetition. You trust the reader to work things out. You remove the hand holding. Now what? How do you balance pacing against keeping your detail intact?
Oh, that's such an easy thing for me because I aim short and I tend to run long, and now I know how much long I usually end up, and I end up about where I want to be. So I don't have to cut a whole lot because I'm familiar with how much over I typically go, and I aim for that. I take it into my counting before I even start.
Interesting.
Okay.
What about you,
So
V?
that's just me.
I when I'm writing stuff, I tend to write over, but often when I'm editing stuff down, what I'm taking out, like you said, it's repetition, or it's finding better word choice, or it's fixing things so that the reader has to do a little more work, but they're not aware of it. So I'm pulling some detail out because if I'm leaving it in there, I'm not trusting my reader to fill in the gaps.
Okay. Depending on what it is, I had to cut, 3,000 words off of the jury rig to the story I wrote for the Four Horsemen universe because it went 3,000 overboard. So I went
And what was the
really,
original word count supposed to be?
it was supposed to be 10
So
or
you
12
went,
and 15. I can't remember.
well, there's a difference between going 30% over and going 20% over. That's why I ask.
Either way, I went over. I went over. And well, upon rereading it, I figured out that basically there was some world building stuff that I could sacrifice. Because while it probably would have done a few things to, it would have been paying some more fan service, it would have been doing some things like that. And it may honestly have been me reaching into something where I was going to get told you can't do that. But I ended up looking at those and cutting out a couple thousand words from that. I left them around. I still have them. So the story, the original story, the way it is still in my possession, so to speak. But finding those 3,000 words was a little agonizing because I had the action scenes, I have the breathing scenes before that, I have the pacing already set out, and now you're telling me I have to cut stuff. Well, typically that means if you're pulling out a breathing scene, you really have to look at that action scene and how you can cut it down to get more build for the breathing scene if you've got another action scene right behind it. Depending on what you're writing and how you're writing it. If you have multiple points of view, it's a lot easier. If you have a single point of view, it gets more tough. It
Yes.
gets tougher to do that. But you're going to have to get experience doing it. And at some point, you will be doing it subconsciously to a large extent when you go back and look at your work. There will be some things that you're like, maybe this is just kind of superfluous information. Nobody needs to know that this person had a horse when they were 3, and that was why they were thinking of galloping such and such. It doesn't add anything to the story. It's just an interesting little side anecdote. Get rid of it. Get rid of it, especially if it messes with the pacing. That's what I do. Slimming down is easier. Slimming down is harder than building up. I can always add more words. Yes. I can always come up with something new to put in there. I can always extend an action scene. I can always do things like that to make it more target oriented if I need to.
You can always, dive into a character's head, give them some thinking time. But yeah, So, this just came to me. One of the things that I have to do as a narrator is I've got to get samples put together. And oftentimes when you put samples together, I'm often editing down scenes that already exist because I have to convey a complete thought or a complete like mini scene in 2 minutes of speaking, sometimes 3. And when I'm doing that, one of the first things to go is any extraneous characters.
Yes.
So characters that don't really contribute. Or another good thing is characters that are stagnant, that don't change in the course. Because if they don't change, why are they there? So that's something to consider. Another thing is the world building. If it doesn't contribute to the story or the idea, why is it there? And I think that's something else you can look at, because especially if it's a short story, you don't need to George R.R. Martin the whole thing and, lay out this sweeping landscape of,
No, that's for the novel. That is not in the
Yeah.
short story or the novella. That is
But-
for the novel.
but that's important to know. But to pull that out, and you can suggest things, but you don't have to set the whole scene. You don't have to put all of the detail out there. You can put a handful of things, suggest them, move on, and then get to telling the actual story.
Sacrilege!
Oh, Mr. I
Sacrilege.
barely describe my characters.
It's true. It's totally true.
No one will ever have long flowing locks in one of Terry's stories.
That is the damn truth.
Antoine says, I think Brandon Sanderson can benefit from this episode. I love that. GRRMing my scene. I think that the fantasy thing is just a self-fulfilling prophecy of writing in large tomes. I think it's just become an epic fantasy. It's become the joke because everybody does it, seems like. Somebody set the standard, and one day maybe it'll switch back to 100,000 word books instead of 1,000,000 word books.
Maybe it'll go back to 60,000, 50,000 word books like it used to be.
I doubt that.
I do
absolutely
too.
doubt that.
No, before it was a limitation based on like the cost to print. And if
Now
you're
there's
just
no
putting stuff
limitation.
out in, ebook format, do as much as you want.
Matt says, how much description of your characters do you actually need? How high is up? I have characters who I will not describe other than to say they're large, short, tall, in specific cases, and it's only because I want to establish relative heights, like of the Marines, for instance, in Derelict, and show how much shorter Callie is than the big ones, or how much shorter Carb is than Dickerson. I need to describe those things. If somebody's got a scar, I need to describe that because there's a reason for it. I may want to tell you about that scar later, so I need to lay that it's there. I need to lay that groundwork. Hair color. Do they have hair? Does it matter? Depends. Is your character a confident bald man, or is your character a confident or not confident person with long hair? Do they have beards? Might matter. Do they have glasses? Might matter. But does it really?
Two schools of thought on that. One, no, it doesn't. Because you can rely on the reader to infer things and keep moving. And a good writer will drop cues as they go through to describe their characters, or they will describe their characters through the eyes of other characters. The flip side to that is that by describing your characters, you give your readers an opportunity to see themselves in characters. And that is really important, especially depending on the genre. So if you're writing something contemporary, if you're writing something heroic and questy, you do want to describe your characters so that readers can find somebody to root for or latch on to, because like, oh, that person's like me. And yeah, so
If a character has a beard, it matters if she is a girl, unless she's a dwarf. I would say even if she's a dwarf, it matters if she has a beard, because I mean, dwarves have lady dwarves in your universe have beards.
some do and some do not. You must specify that, but that's a world building thing, and that sets the tone for everything else.
That kind of detail would be probably necessary if you're fantasy trope land, to let everybody know what your rules are for your fantasy trope land.
Yep.
So that makes sense to me a lot. Characters need description as much as they need the description. If I'm setting my story in swank New York upper class society, what they're wearing might actually matter. Describing what they're wearing might actually matter. Describing the plastic surgery they've had done might actually matter, because it will tell you just how fake these people are or what they prize more than anything in the universe.
Right. It's a status sort of thing.
And by drawing attention to it, that's also basically saying, I make this. You need to keep this in mind about this. This is the universe these people play in. And just by setting it out that way, like in Altered Carbon, we get swept from the slums all the way into the swank, in the blink of an eye. And suddenly we see the juxtaposition of the two universes, and we do the entire way. Describing that would be important to let you know just how the other half lives, whatever half that might be. So description is one of those places you can look to cut out, but you have to be kind of careful, because like she said, there are cues you're giving. Don't cut the cues. Cutting the cues is probably more dangerous than actually cutting the description. So things to know about. Let's see, I just realized I had a character description. Just realized I had no character description at all. I demonstrated an approximate age, but physically nothing. Relatable, yes, but had no idea on what she's like, because it was first person. I didn't want to look in the mirror scene. No. No. If you wanted to handle that, you would talk about touching up an age spot on the face of makeup or something like that, without even having them look in the mirror, or talking about them looking in the mirror. Or maybe putting on, fake eyelashes or whatever else, just to basically say, these are things this person does, and then you could describe them. That would be a better way than having them look in the mirror.
Yeah, you can have, someone passes a hand through, short curly hair, or, rubs the heel of their hand along their beard, or my favorite, long hair gets stuck in your sunglasses. This is my life. But those like little things that you can use to not only describe the character's appearance, but you can also set the mood of a scene.
Yeah.
So you have, sometimes editing is seeing what you can do to the words that are there to pull double or triple duty.
Rowdy says main character descriptions are hard in a first person POV story. Or a guy thinking he needs a haircut. Yeah, that works too. First-person stories, I think you let other people do the describing for the main character, How they react to your main character. How they, do they ever get greedy eyes? Do they ever look salaciously at the main character? Are they completely dismissive? Is your character disarming in their approach and their demeanor in such a way that people don't take them seriously? There's a lot of different ways to do that without having to jump into the mirror. But again, does your main character's description really matter all that much? Unless it's some detail that matters to the story, I say no.
And I will say it depends on the genre. Because there's certain genres where you have to describe your characters because that's what readers expect.
Okay, so in romance, for instance.
Oh dear God, you better describe everything. You bet.
He raises an eyebrow.
Depending upon how far you go with the story, yeah, you describe everything. But it's off, but often because romance is dual POV, you have some chapters where your one main character is describing the other through their
Right.
own lens,
Right.
and that's super helpful. Um, so so
That's
yeah, but
cheating. That's cheating.
it is using the strength of the genre. Thank you
It
very much.
is cheating. Makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
Matt says, I'm finding as I go more and more what I don't want. I should look up a list of no, don't do that. That's called writing. That's called experience, dude.
That's
Nobody
called
gave
genre
us that list. You
expectations.
just learned the list. But that's one of the things that should be on the list. Don't use a mirror unless you're using it ironically.
Yeah, or if you're a vampire and you can't be seen in mirrors because it's
Because
not going to work.
because you can't figure out how to put on your tie. You can't see your skin, just your tuxedo hanging out, which has got to be just really creepy. Just, thinking that's just bizarre.
Mhm.
And fantasy descriptions can be lengthy. Thanks, Robert Jordan. Well,
Indeed.
that's also possible in other genres, or I don't think it's just him. But yeah, fantasy descriptions kind of get ridiculous. But again, isn't that also part of the genre though?
Yeah.
For epic fantasy, the long ass descriptions to go along
Mhm.
with describing exactly how the castle looked, the horses, the armor, the fucking bannermen, and the flags and all the bullshit. Is that necessary? Is that part of the? Is that just part of a trope within the genre itself?
I believe that it is actually. Um, it's much like it's a trope, just like in lit RPG, reading out the stats and other things is a trope. It's a thing that is done that simply makes it what it is.
I would argue that lit RPG is just as descriptive
Oh yeah,
because I think because of the nature of the characters that are in a lit RPG and they're in a brand new environment that they may or may not know as a game, and so they are going to hone in on almost every detail they can, because as as the character, they don't know what's important or not. As the reader, you don't know what's going to pop up later,
Hmm.
later in that book or later in the series as important. And then, depending upon the mechanics of the game in the lit RPG, it's going to focus on certain things. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
That RPG mentioned focus back. All right, Brian Zander, be
Hey,
that way. No silver in modern mirrors or cameras. That is correct, and that is actually a big deal in the strain. That actually becomes a really big deal.
is it? I did not know that, but it's something that somebody pointed out online. I was like, oh, that makes a whole big difference then.
It makes a huge difference.
yeah.
See, Rowdy says in lit RPG they are quote unquote playing a character who probably looks different than themselves. That's true too.
Not always. Not always. Some, maybe not so much in some lit RPG, but I guess more game lit. Um, you can have you can have your game being in the quote unquote real world, and then there's an overlay.
Hmm.
And so that overlay is the game mechanics superimposed onto the regular world. So you're not necessarily you're playing yourself, and you now have a whole other set of rules and mechanics that you have to play by. Um,
Okay.
but I'm not sure if that's lit RPG or game lit because I've listened to both, and I've listened to some that don't have the end of chapter rundown of stats, and others that do. So
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, epic fantasy, not my type, not my deal. I am ignorant. I am willfully ignorant. I haven't written or read a epic fantasy in a very, very long time, and I'm okay with that. Totally
yeah,
okay
so
with
you're
that.
not ignorant. You just have a different preferred focus.
Something like that. All right, I think we slaughtered that one. We have time for this one. Game lit is not as crunchy.
Mhm. Okay.
It's truth.
So, probably a good question for someone who is well known for killing everyone in his stories, our resident toe tag expert. How do you write an unhappily ever after story and not have the reader feel cheated when the characters they follow get treated the way a baby treats his diaper?
Hey, if you're reading Paul E. Cooley stories, you're getting exactly what you bargained for here.
You signed up for this shit.
You signed up for this shit. Don't you go bitching about, oh, my favorite characters died. You know what you were getting when you walked in.
Yeah. Paul just doesn't kill his darlings. He kills them with impunity. Just
He doesn't
And a
just kill his
smile on my
darlings.
face.
He kills his darlings. He kills his enemies. He kills innocent bystanders. He kills guilty bystanders. He kills everybody. Everybody indiscriminately. He's basically a serial killer.
Now Paul is right. Okay, first off, I used to say I don't believe in happy endings. Or I don't like stories that have happy endings. And I got called out for that all the time. All the fucking time. What I mean by that is I don't like the storybook ending. I don't like the fairy tale storybook ending. It's too convenient. Way too convenient. And it simplifies or in large cases demeans whatever things were done to get to that happy ending. So, in my stories, I don't always kill all the characters. I rarely kill all the characters. It does happen. They do die. It does happen. But I also write stories where, in many ways, if you think about it, there's no way for escape. The question is, how are you going to die? Are you going to die with your fists out and fighting to the last tooth, falls out of your mouth because you broke it on somebody's arm or sword or whatever? That was a really bad analogy. Are you going to go out with your boots on, or are you going to go out lying in the snow? You get to make that choice. And maybe you can save some other people while you're at it. I like those stories a lot. I like the stories where there's hope. They may not turn out the way they wanted it to, but even the ones where they walk away from it, they don't walk away unscarred. They walk away permanently scarred. Not necessarily physically disfigured, but they're going to be living with this shit the rest of their lives.
Okay, dude, you need to be honest here. They're not walking away. They're dragging themselves what limbs you leave them with.
But I know I froze and I was trying to say something. But you write stories where your characters either have to earn their survival or they get the ending they deserve.
Well, no, way of looking at it.
Okay, because getting the ending that you deserve versus just a happy ending that's a very it's a very not Western perspective on storytelling.
Fair enough.
Because there are plenty of. It's not necessarily a tragedy, because in a tragedy, your main character does not learn their lesson, and they're just doomed to repeat it.
Or they lose everything.
Right, and they lose it because it's their damn fault, because they weren't able to change and adapt and what have you. But you can still change and fail spectacularly, and that is the ending that the character deserves.
Yeah, true.
I don't see anything wrong with this personally.
I have a feeling that when people finish Extinction, I'm going to get yelled at.
Duh.
And I can't wait.
Duh.
I'm going to get yelled at for the wrong reasons. It's going to be really funny.
Okay, so what's the wrong reason to yell at you for an ending?
There is no wrong reason to yell at them for an ending. Let's be realistic here.
I'm not going to go there. I'm going to let that be a surprise.
Okay, so was I wrong to yell at Terry for the ending of the 15th book of his series because he left me on a damn cliffhanger with a character that I loved?
it's kind of fun watching her just shake her fist at you. It's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
know.
amazing.
I get that.
Yeah.
I see that a lot.
But upon reflection, that character's arc did end. The character went through a complete change, from book 1 to book 15, and it was a logical ending. Was it happy?
Maybe not at that particular moment,
Right. Who's to say
but
what
all of the seeds are there for future happiness. So it's a
Yeah.
moderately satisfied for now. I don't know.
It-
It's not a romance.
No.
Yeah.
So it's a happy for now. And romance can have a happy for now if you want contemporary stuff. It doesn't have to be happily ever after.
I think that is what I like, is a happier for now ending.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least I'm going to walk away and I have a chance to rebuild my life.
There you go. Okay.
I like those stories. But then there are other stories where the character knows they're screwed. They know that they're going to run out of air, they're going to run out of this, they're going to run out of that. They have nothing to do but basically go forward and see what kind of mischief they can cause before they expire.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they can manage to do something to save somebody else before they expire because they're already dead. Because that's just life. Those stories interest me. How a character goes through the whole process of figuring out that there may not be a way to survive, but there may be some way to do something before they actually die. And I think that's a pretty big voyage of discovery there for most characters, is figuring that out. And then you might allow them to survive anyway.
You
Part of
benevolent
the
elder
drama.
god.
I always give them a chance to survive, and then I shut the fucking door. Anyway,
Yeah, that's no lies detected.
Let's say, there's the Paul Cooley we all know and love.
I'm not that bad, just mostly. There is an art to it, though, and like V was saying, there are characters that deserve their end, and there are characters who deserve a different end, and it just depends on who the character is. I love leaving characters alive. I do.
I
Hopefully
don't believe
because-
that dribble.
Hopefully because I can use them again for another story. But Paul's a capricious god. I think there are certain stories where an ending like that is what you need. It absolutely is. If I have two people who've been fighting the entire time, you imagine they probably are going to end up lovers or best friends by the end of it. If they're really important to the story, am I going to kill them? Probably not immediately. I won't do anything like that unless the story calls for it. If the story calls for it, then I do it. And some of the stories I write, people aren't necessarily going to be happy with the way they end, but they end. You have to pull everybody off stage left, clean up the bodies, and reset the stage for the next book. Just the way it works. Man says, looking at my ending is a case I could make it happy and open the door to what's next, or the alternative. Guess which way I went. That's too funny. What is happy, though? Is happy where they go, that was some weird shit. All right, now let's go get some Taco Bell. Is that basically the happy?
I'm just going to have to get a sign that says it depends on the genre.
Fair
Because
enough.
it does. Like, sometimes sometimes your ending is just a logical stopping point.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes the logical ending is a reward. And sometimes the logical ending is doom and destruction.
Tell me more about this doom and destruction. Like the Avengers going for a shawarma. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really cool ending, because it's like, okay, we want to get things back to normal as fast as we can.
There's no normal.
And there's no normal because, yeah, they're all sitting together having shawarma, but they're all sitting together in their hero kits. And
And they all look exhausted, bloody, bruised, and everything
and
else.
the place is a shambles because stuff.
I do like that particular ending. Rowdy says, happy is Princess Leia giving them a medal after they blow up the Death Star.
Hey now. Let's be honest here. There was some shenanigans going on there because Chewbacca did not a medal. All right, there was obvious speciest behavior going on here.
True.
She couldn't get the medal over his head. What are you talking about?
Are you
needs.
short shaming her? Did I just hear that?
Yes, in the context of Wookieedom, yes, she's short shamed.
Knees, but still.
She couldn't get up there. She would need a step ladder to get up there. What are you talking about? Carrie
that would
Fisher
have been
was not
funny
a
if
tall
they'd have
woman.
brought that out there and done exactly that. I would have laughed my ass off.
Oh, God, it'd be some funny shit. Hey, James. How about the kid
Sorry, James.
doing the My Daddy Was on the Death Star storyline? What? My daddy was on that Death Star. I don't know what that is. Storyline. I'm missing it, Matt. Either I don't know the reference or something else. I like that. That was one of the funniest conversations in Clerks, was when they're having the whole conversation about, as a contractor, if you do work for the mob or organized crime, you could get shot at, you could get killed, you could end up just, being collateral damage, and it's your responsibility to know things. Stormtroopers' kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, if you're working for the Imperial, you had it coming.
Mm-hmm.
If you're working for the Rebels, you had it coming. You just kind of had it coming.
Yeah. And so the Imperial soldiers were clones, if we're going from Clone Wars.
Oh, right.
But not the folks who were like the technicians and whatnot. I don't think.
No. Because they didn't wear the helmets. They were normal people. Plot hole. Yeah. His daddy was killed. Yes, this is true. Anyway.
I wonder if they'll address that in Spaceballs too. I would like to see that addressed in Spaceballs too.
God, there's no telling what he's done. Are you kidding?
It's going to be great.
Hopeless. All right, we got one more quickie. What happens when you don't fire Chekhov's gun?
Then it wasn't really Chekhov's gun. It was just a prop.
If folks aren't familiar with what Chekhov's gun is, Chekhov, if there's a gun introduced in the first act, it better go off in the second act.
Third act.
Well, third act. If it's
That's
a third
what they
act play.
say.
If it's a third act play. Third act.
If it goes off in the second act, what the hell are you going to do in the third act? I mean,
reload it.
That's what they call premature gunionation. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with the right word there for you.
Premature climaxation.
Something with guns.
With guns. With guns. Premature climaxism. Now with guns.
This is my gun explanation, or
no? We're not going to go into that.
Okay.
This is my rifle. This is my gun. One is for killing. The other's for fun.
As Terry said, it's not Chekhov's gun if it doesn't go off.
Yeah, and if it is supposed to be and it doesn't go off, you have not kept up your promise to the reader, and
they're probably going to be miffed.
Yeah.
Probably going to be miffed.
Yeah.
So, that's one more thing you have to kind of look at.
There was a story that I read somewhere. It's apocryphal. I don't know that it's actually true, but this involved William Shatner when he was doing live television. And he was supposed to be a murderous guy that shot somebody in a scene, and the gun is supposed to be on the mantle in a bag. So he goes over there, grabs the bag, opens it, and inside he finds a sandwich. Somebody's lunch. No gun. So he immediately puts the bag back down, goes around and strangles the guy right there on the spot. Live television, no choice. Here we go.
TV, here we go. Let's see. Matt says, I found that I'd set things up. It was almost promising path, but that wasn't the story it was about.
Yeah.
See, that would be a great thing to put in one of your books. You put Chekhov's gun on the mantelpiece, but it's not a real gun. And then after you kill the guy some other way, you've got to go find whoever put that there and beat the snot out of them for fucking it up.
Or it's a squirt gun.
Yeah, currently doing this in the story. It's not a gun. I have talked about this before.
It's Potemkin's gun.
So tell me, what is Potemkin's gun?
Shoot it. Russian military leader, statesman, noble, favorite of Catherine the Great. Died during negotiations, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Oh,
At least
so
I think this is the Potemkin we're talking about.
then if he was a favorite of Catherine the Great, then what gun are we talking about?
The horses.
Oh, ho, ho. I knew a horse was going to come into this somehow.
So she summoned the cavalry?
Ooh. She did more
Sound
than
the
that.
charge!
Normally the cavalry serves the queen. She serviced the cavalry.
Oh, well, I'm not sure that they didn't serve the queen, honestly, when you get right down to it. And that was, as everyone knows, bullshit. It was something made up to dehumanize her. It was an attack on her, and there was no truth to it. So take that.
The Potemkin village is a construction, literal or figurative, that provides a facade to a situation to make people believe that the situation is better than it actually is. The term comes from stories of a fake portable village built by Grigory Potemkin, the field marshal and former lover of Empress Catherine II, solely to impress the Empress during her journey to Crimea in 1787. The original story was that Potemkin erected phony portable settlements along the banks of the Dnieper River in order to impress the Russian Empress and foreign guests. The structures will be disassembled after she passed and reassembled further along her route to be seen again. I love it.
Hey, if it works.
Thank you for that, James. I was not familiar. That is awesome. Let's see. I was merging the idea with the gun. Look at this amazing gun. It totally will work. Yeah. Antoine says, I don't know if Terry, those sexist arguments full of holes sort of make sense. I got nothing. I got so much nothing. And with good reason. With very good reason. The game's motivator to get the character where they need to go, not the destination of the story. Well, we'll talk about that in After Dark. I want to talk about that one in After Dark.
You're going to have a topic for After Dark?
Wait a second. Hold on.
What is this organization nonsense?
I know. What the hell is going on here? I know.
Go away for a week. Terry and I stay on topic for an entire show. And now you come back. We pretty much stay on 3 topics.
That's right. 3 topics.
And now you're having a topic for After Dark? I don't know about this.
As Roddy says, where's the toe tagging? Where is my toe tagging?
What is toe-tagging? Toe-tagging is when I kill characters and name them after people.
Just be real here. The only person you name a toe tag after is one guy. One guy.
Toe-Tag Reed. At the very beginning, in case you hadn't heard this before, in the very beginning of my podcast career, there was a guy named Thomas Reed.
I was going to say, you better not have forgot his name.
Who on Twitter went by Treed, T.R. Reed. And he was one of the first Fiendlings. And when I was writing Tattoo, I was including names, and I included his name in a list of corpses. He got very miffed on Twitter. And he said, "You killed me before the story started. How dare you?" So instead of rectifying the situation in the next story, he was yet another toe tag. Basically, I've included him in several books where he has already died. And it's either somebody thinking about their buddy, a story they heard about Thomas Reed, or an actual medical examiner who is talking about Thomas Reed and the way he died. So he has died in all sorts of hideous, horrible ways. including peeing on a live wire, being burned to death. I can't remember how he got burned to death, but it was kind of funny. And some other shenanigans that have happened to him. Oh yeah, and also flying off a motorcycle and doing 100 yards of road rash on his face. Stuff like
Peeing
that.
on a live wire. Would not recommend. No stars.
Yeah, his pee-pee looked kind of weird. Anyway, so I do those kinds of things. The pee-pee looking weird. I used to do those things all the time and name characters after folks who were supporters of the show, especially those who gave monetary means to keep us afloat. So
You
I've killed a lot
talk
of them.
about you killing him off because you were being obstinate and just you want to be contrarian. That reminds me of J.R. Handley asking to be killed in the most bloody, horrible way possible. So I vaporized him with a plasma cannon, and there was not a single molecule of him left. Poof, gone. Him and his nuclear device. Poof, gone. Or it may have been a fusion gun. I can't remember. Something very destructive.
It wasn't a tungsten rod?
No, she basically used the drop capsule to drop down from orbit in that short story.
That's
crashed down right in front of him and then vaporized him and the nuclear weapon before he could so much as make a peep. He was quite miffed by that.
She's efficient.
On that note, if you have a question or comment about this episode, you can go to deadrobotsociety.com, punch that comment button, and send us an email. We'll be happy to read it and ignore you afterwards. If you want to join us live on the show, go to youtube.com/DRS podcast. You can leave a comment on this episode there. Like and subscribe so you know when we're live, which is every Saturday at 3 p.m. CST, except when we are not. And if you want to support the show, well, first of all, you should join our Discord. Links are in the show notes. Love to have you. Our community's nuts. We love them. And if you want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/DRS podcast and buymeacoffee.com/DRS podcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive live shows like the one coming up in about 8 minutes. And at the $10 level, you get your name read. And our $10 patrons are Juan Valentin, James Terrell, Nate Cole, Xander, Antoine Batts, Lisa Slack, and Tim Niederreiter. Thank you to all of our patrons for making this show possible.
Mighty bold of you to assume that we actually read the email.
I read the email. I don't allow you to read the email. God only knows what would happen if I let you read the email.
This is bad because I'd say, everybody'd send me and say, hey, why don't we do this? Tell Paul about it. Tell Paul
Exactly.
about it. That's my answer.
There's no point in you being the ombudsman for the show because your response would be, Dr. Paul. Dr. Paul.
So why do I get the spammy ones that try to put guests on because they've listened to the podcast and they like our inspiring message?
Because
I don't know.
They think you're the easy touch. They just don't know you.
because they got tired of hammering me and I don't respond to them and tell them to go pound sand.
I don't know.
Spam, 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 spam. We'd
Hello,
like to pitch
Julius.
our author to
What are
come
you
on
doing?
and talk about archery with you for 2 hours. Here are the topics they're willing to talk about. No, that's not what we're doing here.
Julius is prepared for his show.
Oh, good.
That's good to know. On that note, we are out of here. We will see you folks next week. Until then, have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for hanging out with us. And as always, get some writing done
Yeah,
or
slackers.
something. Go do something, you slackers. Bye.